And what's up, everyone? It's me, Joel, back at it again. I'm at the job right now. I want to share some thoughts with you. As you read in the thumbnail on the screen, it says, "How do you recognize hate?" I remember the first time that I started to wrestle with this, because as a boy, as a boy and as a young man, I always assumed that hate was this emotion where you just get very, very angry and you destroy stuff, and you have it's a real emotional fire that keeps burning. You have a hatred for somebody else or for something. And then I realized that as I got older, it's different. It's changing as I got older, especially when I got children and when I got married. And I'm also a teacher. And I recall one day reading in the Bible, and I'm paraphrasing somewhere in Proverbs, when it says, if you hate to, it says, if you spare the rod, you hate your child's soul. And for me, it's kind of oxymoronic, because in my head, like what you mean spare the rod, you hate the child's soul? And just for the sake of this conversation, we're gonna call the rod something used to correct. It could be an actual device or just a system or whatever you have in place to help correct something or someone. But it says, if you if you spare the rod, you hate your child's soul. So how do you recognize hate, especially as parents, as teachers, or just people in general? A lot of times we don't, like I said earlier, when we see hate, we only think of it in terms of emotions. When you're so caught up in emotion that you say and do things that are irrational. But from what I gather, as I mull this over in my own mind, somebody who is hateful, they actually refuse to correct. It could be correct themselves, it could be correct their child, correct something about their lifestyle. Whenever somebody refuses to correct something, especially if they know that it's wrong, they actually hate that thing or hate the person or even hate themselves or hate their child. Whenever you refuse to assist in making something correct, you actually hate that thing. But it can be so tricky to recognize it. And there's another verse in the Bible. It says in Proverbs, it says, "Faithful are the wounds of a friend, but the kisses of an enemy are deceitful." And these things always, when I read these scriptures, it gives me stories in my mind. Like, can you imagine someone getting close enough to kiss you? That means that inside your head, you're thinking that that person is for you. If your enemy kisses you, that means that you believe a person actually is for you. But that's hate. And your enemy doesn't love you. Your enemy hates you. But he greets you with a kiss. He greets you with a kiss. So that means that you don't even see it coming. So sometimes hate can look like, another way that you can recognize hate is keeping the wrong company. Sometimes you're around people, you swear they're good for you, and the worst thing about it is this: you may even see it as hate. You may even see the person as being your enemy, because they do everything you like them to do. They say everything that's good for you, quote unquote, or not good for you, stuff that you like to hear. They don't ever challenge you, don't ever push against you. And everything you say is good. They don't challenge you. That's why the first part of the verse says, "Faithful are the wounds of a friend." A friend will correct you. A friend will risk hurting you to correct you. These things are very tricky to see. An enemy will tell you, yeah, yeah, don't worry about it. Just keep doing that. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Yeah, yeah, keep eating that. Yeah, you look good at 300 pounds. Yeah, that looks good. No, no, no. It's not your fault. It's their fault. They just they just can't take the word that you're using. An enemy is so deceitful. Be careful of the kisses of an enemy. That person hates you. Even when you're laughing with them and even when they're laughing with you. And the thing is, they may not even know what they're doing. They may not even know that they're hating you by assisting you in the downfall of you. You know, and next thing is they refuse to keep the emotions in the proper place. Now, I know we have emotions. God gave us emotions and they're good in the right place. Emotions Emotions are a good tool. They're a good servant, but they're a horrible master. They're supposed to serve us. And the moment we start letting our emotions master us, that's when we start walking in the realm of hate. But again, I'm not talking about hate as if like you're burning up on the inside and there's so much anger and you just have to let it out on someone or something. This video is about recognizing hate that looks so passive. It looks so good. It smells good. It tastes good. It even feels good. Hate like somebody who's 300 pounds and they can't stop eating. They hate themselves, but they enjoy the food. The child who the parent lets go crazy and they don't ever correct them. They don't ever try to instruct them on behavior, on academics or anything like that. That parent hates the child. That's a hard thing to actually understand, because sometimes as a parent and as a teacher, I'm like, I'm letting too much things slide without correcting them. And I'm not talking about just spanking only. I mean just in life. Are you correcting them in life? In respect, in tone, in manner? How do you talk to people? How do you treat people? I ask a lot of kids in my class, I say, how many guys know what the word disobedient means or obedient means? I could tell you maybe 1% know. Do parents actually talk to their child about what it is to be in life, about what it means to interact with the world around them? Or do they allow them to walk around uncorrected with a warped sense of life? That parent hates their child. But these are my words. I told you when I read that scripture, it messed me up for a long time. And it's still messing with my mind. He who spares the rod hates his child's soul. And when the Bible talks about the soul, it's your mind, your will, and your emotions. Those things are again twisted and broken, and that child grows up misshapen in a house of hate, disguised like love, disguised like tolerance. What about a husband and wife? You know, when a husband refuses to take instructions or correction from his wife, he hates her. Or when the wife hates, or when the wife refuses to take instruction from her husband, she hates him. These some hard words. How do you recognize hate? How do you recognize hate? It's not just the anger and bawling out, but it's the thing that you refuse to correct. The company you keep, and when you refuse to keep your emotions in check and keep them in their proper place. Remember, they're a good servant but a horrible master. These are just some of the few things that I've learned and things that I'm learning about how to recognize hate. Hopefully that helps you. Hopefully it blesses you. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time.